Hydro-Quebec doesn't want to hear what it will look like when they flood the land, when they dam the Great Well River. It will affect all living things, all beings, and those that live in the water. It will displace all fish and animals of the river. They will not be able to stay where they are now when they start to create reservoirs.
Will they be building the dams on your land?
Yes, where we usually harvest. Our cabin is there. It will be underwater. The only things that will show are the tips of the mountains. When that happens, all living creatures will be displaced, even the fish. They will be looking for food in the trees. They will not be able to stay where they used to live, in the river.
How do you feel about that prospect?
I am very sad and hurt. It's just like losing a loved one close to you. That's how much it hurts. When we remember the prospect of dams, we feel like crying in our hearts.
On July 22, 1993, an expedition of Eastern James Bay Cree from the community of Tisasabi embarked on a journey north along the James Bay and Hudson Bay coasts that would take them to the mouth of the Great Whale River in northern Quebec, Canada. Northern Quebec Inuit from Pavangnatuk, Inuchuak, Imuyak, and Sanikiluak Northwest Territories also made the journey from the north in Hudson's Bay. Traditionally, Cree and Inuit have survived for generations following these same routes to fishing and hunting grounds that have sustained them for generations. Although these expeditions were by motorboat, Cree and Inuit in the past did not have canoes with motors, but relied only on their paddle birch-bark canoes and sealskin boats.
Eskimo
James Bay and Hudson's Bay are like a food bowl for the Korean Inuit, but since the hydro projects for James Bay 1 in Quebec, the James Bay Basin has been seriously altered. Not as many birds and animals are harvested by Korean Inuit hunters, and fish are contaminated with mercury in the inland lakes and streams. The salinity of the water has changed because of the projects, therefore affecting the growing cycle and habitat of vital foods of all birds and animals that depend on the bay. The Cree of Eastern James Bay, Quebec are very much dependent on the land and water of James and Hudson's Bays. Any changes could severely harm their way of life forever. The Korean Inuit have been hunting these waters for thousands of years, and today they still do. But now everything that they depend on is threatened by further proposed hydro development at Great Whale in northern Quebec, Canada. The Cree of Tisasabi and the other coastal Cree travel regularly on the waters of James and Hudson's Bays and want to continue to harvest its bounty in the future. For the Cree and Inuit depend on the land and waters. The land and waters depend on them. They are one. In 1975, an agreement was signed by the Cree and Inuit with the governments of Quebec and Canada. Many Cree and Inuit do not understand written English or French. They still depend on the land they call home. The elders foresaw the coming development. They knew their cultures were threatened. But at the time, misunderstanding and ignorance was stronger than the truth. Today, the Cree and Inuit are fighting to keep their homeland, a land beautiful and serene. Animals and birds are calling out to save their home. The Great Whale River is, in the words of an elder, the vein of Mother Earth, the blood that carries life to its children. James Bay and Hudson's Bay is one of the most beautiful and pristine areas on the North American continent. The land and water is still very much untouched by outside sources. For the Cree and Inuit, it is vital that these great inland seas and rivers be preserved. Their cultural survival and identity depends on it. Hydroelectric development and other industrial activities threaten the existence of these very unique peoples. The land they live on is rich in resources that outsiders want to develop. Outsiders do not see the richness of the land and sea that the Cree and Inuit depend on. They see economic gain as the tool to prosperity. Today, The Cree and Inuit are still very close to their roots. They still practice many of their traditional activities that have been passed on through the generations. At the moment, Cree and Inuit still have that chance to survive from the land, but outside influences and development have eroded the cultures of once independent peoples. The young people and children are very important. They observe and learn from the elders and teachers. The Hudson Bay and James Bay area is where many species of fish are caught by the Cree and Inuit. Fishing is a very important activity for the Cree and Inuit. It is a staple in the diet and very important to survival in the days before contact with the Europeans. The trip north by the Chesapeake Cree was about 250 miles. It was 3 nights in the tents. The fishing was not very good, but enough fish were caught for a bite. The children still enjoy swimming in the Great Whale River. But the Chesapeake Cree can no longer swim in Bear River. It is too dirty and cold. Once upon a time, the Chesapeake River was considered one of the best rivers for fish and drinking water. Now it is only history. In the Cree and Inuit tradition, it is very important that you treat your guest well, and you must make sure that he or she feels welcome. The people of Great Whale did not break tradition.
We left Chesapeake 4 days ago, on Thursday. We slept overnight on James Bay at a place called the Little Point. It was very windy that day.
This gathering is a result of a resolution of the Wapmaxty First Nation, the members of the Wapmaxty First Nation, who asked the council to call for a gathering of this kind to be able to assess the impacts of modern influences and other things on our culture. The result of that mandate is what you see today. I extend my thanks to all of those who made an effort to come here. We have guests as far as perhaps 300 miles north, 100 miles south. Some of them came in by plane, perhaps about 800 miles south. We also have some guests from the United States that are here. As most of you know, we've had a long battle with hydroelectric development projects. Today, our river still runs free, and we're going to keep it that way. There are many reasons for this gathering, and the most important is to revisit our culture. The Inuit, that of the Inuit and the Cree. This site is an historic site in which the Crees and the Inuit used to gather since time immemorial. If you walk along the grass, you're going to see old campsites, perhaps 2,000 years old and more. This is the historic site where the Inuit and the Crees, since time immemorial, used to hunt the whale. This is why this river is called the Great Whale River, because it was famous for that kind of hunt. Our gathering here should give us a direction as to where we want to go, how much of modern influences we want to take. Because one thing we have to admit is that there are some of those things that come from modern society today that are beneficial to us. But it's those that affect us negatively that we want to fight, that we want to understand and know how to deal with. And this is the purpose of this gathering, is to identify what is good and what is bad for us in terms of what we get from modern society. It's also a gathering where we want to understand our own cultures through the teachings of our elders. And once again, I would like to welcome everyone. And again, let's give another hand for those visitors who came from such a long way. Thank you.
This is my Martin, okay? I will trap him. He smells the bait. He must stand like this, right here. When he stands close enough, he will see it. Whichever way he tries to enter, this way or that way, even when he squeezes through, he will still try and get at the bait. He will be trapped, and he won't be able to move. Then he will die.
Sometimes people get in each other's way when there is two trying to clean a caribou hide. When you see they are not on the same pace, it breaks the rhythm. When you sharpen this kind of tool, you learn how to use and sharpen it. It will not work to sharpen it from this side, only on this side. This is how I sharpen mine. That's the only way it will work. When it is not rough on the edge, that's when it is good and sharp.
I used to really like it when the top really worked. It used to make a loud noise when I spun it. When it is smooth, not rough, it is very loud. You can make it any size. If you want to make it big, you can. It's very loud when it is big. This is a small one. I just wanted to show how it was made. The wood cannot crack or split because I made a crossbow in the same way before. Bring the string now. Don't let the string go at us. You'll hit the woman.
I've seen all the beautiful teachings. All these local elders were teaching the people. Back home, we don't have that. There's only a handful of our elders. Even our language is gone. It's so beautiful to hear the little ones playing and talking in their language. It's so beautiful to see the future. And they will begin to pass these teachings.
Nam sham janaspondem kabejit skodamoyam kawashiyam Nam sham janaspondem It's good and Machiwen At Magneshit the man Jekon Wechimashtain Wishket Machiwen Jindoshchi and Cintochen Cinasconden Cabbage it's chidetwin Nom shom Cinasconden Cabbage it's good and Kawashiyam Nam sham janasconden Kabejit skodan Machiwin At magneshit the man Jekon wechimashtain
At sunrise in the spring and summer, the walking out ceremony is one of the most important ceremonies for the Cree people. It is a ceremony that introduces a child to the Cree way of life, survival, and respect to all of life. He or she is brought into the circle of the Cree family. This gives the child strength to pursue life as a Cree and introduces the child to future skills needed to survive on the land. He or she will then pass the knowledge of the Cree way to his or her children.
Cry of your heart, cry of your heart, cry of your heart. I seen a girl by a lonesome river. She'll never know.
A feast is always given to honor the children after the walking out ceremony.
Where the great well river flows from the inland lakes and streams, through a land of mystic scenery, full of beauty and serene, where the people still respect wildlife and the dream, where everything remains like it was when time began. It's the land where spirits roam. It's the land where legends live. It's the land of the green Inuit. It's the land far beyond the white man's highway. It's the land where spirits roam. It's the land where legends live. It's the land of the green Inuit. It's the land far beyond the white man's highway. Far beyond.
With hydroelectric development projects. Today, our river still runs free, and we're going to keep it that way.
From the lower James shore to the coast of Hudson's Bay, where the boreal forests grow and the floral bloom, where the northern lights display aurora colors in the sky, where the full moon shines brightest in the land of time to say. It's the land where spirits roam. It's the land where legends live. It's the land of the green Inuit. It's the land far beyond the white man's highway, where the great well river flows from the inland lakes and streams, through a land of mystic scenery, full of beauty and serene, where the people still respect wildlife and the dream, where everything remains like it was when time began. It's the land where spirits roam. It's the land where legends live. It's the land of the Cree and the Inuit. It's the land far beyond the white man's highway. It's the land where spirits roam. It's the land where legends live. It's the land of the Cree and the Inuit. It's the land far beyond